Hey everyone, welcome to this tutorial. This is going to be an introduction to using Megascans in Unreal Engine 5. It's going to be a very high level overview just to kind of get you started with the idea of what we can do with Megascans. So I'm just going to make kind of like a little generic scene here. Um, let's dive in. All right, so Megascans. Here we are in Unreal Engine 5. I just have a default scene here set up. So if we go up to this little box and then we go to Quixel Bridge, which is the interface for Megascans and Unreal Engine 5. So we click that. It may ask you to log in. Just use your Epic login like you typically would to get into Unreal Engine. And you'll see here we've got a bunch of categories. So we've got 3D assets, plants, surfaces, decals, and imperfections. And we're going to cover all of these, but imperfections because those are basically just ways to introduce imperfections into your materials, and that'll be covered later on. We have collections, metahumans, favorites, and locals. So favorites is what you go in and favorite, and then local is what's currently on your hard drive. Metahumans we are not going to cover because they are still not too great. So, all right. So the first thing I need is ground. So let's go into 3D assets and just type in ground. And it's going to give us a ton of options. I think the idea for what I want to do for this little demo um, is kind of maybe the outside of a house, some stairs leading up to a house or something like that, with a forest ground kind of around it. So I'm just kind of scrolling through here, looking at all the different assets. I'm looking for ground, kind of like large ground patches. Something like that might work. I'm gonna do a path, so I want something that's like a embankment or a berm. So I'm just gonna pull this over off to this. Actually, I'm not going to do that because I want to show you how this works. So let's go in here. I've already got this one. All right, let's just start with this. Tundra rocky ground. So this is kind of like the information about this asset. This is where you can favorite it. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can go to the files on the hard drive. Some of these other things you don't have to really concern yourselves with. We can see down here there's a quality. Uh, I would recommend, unless you have a pretty fast computer and internet connection, not to use nanite. We'll use high quality for now. Then you get these little settings over here, and this is master material overrides. Really, you don't need to do anything in here. We'll go over material blending later in this semester. And then we have download and add. So I'm going to download this, and you'll see it added to my download list, and it's going to go ahead and download. The nanite quality ones get really big. All right, so that's downloaded. I'm going to add this to my scene, and you're going to see this little kind of thing pop up. I don't know if you saw it, but it's pretty quick. Go to 3D assets, and we'll see that we have tundra rocky ground. You'll see it has a material. We've got some textures associated with it, and the asset. So if we drag the asset out, there we go. There's our berm. Really quick. So what I'm going to do now is kind of bash a scene together with these assets and do a little bit of a time lapse just to give you an idea of what we can do, and then we'll jump back in and I'll explain some of um, these other categories as I work. But first off, I'm going to go ahead and build this scene real quick. Stay tuned. All right, just real quick. I spoke too soon. I want to cover how to do a landscape ground, which that's something a lot of you will probably want to do to some degree. So landscapes, we're going to go over here to landscape mode under our modes. And for now, just hit create. We're not going to get into all those settings because it can be kind of crazy. And then the next thing I'm going to do is go into Megascans, and I'm going to find uh, ground texture. I don't want something too, maybe one of these will work. Yeah, I'll just use this for now. So again, download. It'll just take a second. Add it. And you see now we have a material. So I'm going to select my landscape and just click and drag this material and drop it onto here. And you'll see we have a ground material. It doesn't look too great because it's tiled to really to a high degree. So let's fix that real quick. We'll go into our material, which is here. Click tiling and offset. And let's just say like 0.2. That's a little bit too big. 0.5. 0.5. Oop, split the difference. 0.3. Okay, terrific. And now this ground is much better. So you can see the scale works. Again, I'm going to go ahead and grab a mannequin. I'm going to search in content. I suggest you do this with every single one of your scenes. It'll just really help you figure out your scale. So I'm just going to grab, I don't want that. I want static mesh. This is a helpful tip. So you can click here and now I can filter through everything, and I'm just going to hit static mesh. Go to mannequin, all. All right. I guess there's no static mesh. That's weird. Let's go to all. Try mannequin again. I know what this is. I'm going to click and drag one of these in here and then go find, there it is. It's one of those, it's like an engine thing, where it hides these meshes. All right, anyways, so let's delete that. So now I've got a person in here and I can see that my ground is way too big. Those clovers are huge. So let's go back to our material and here, and let's just set this back up to like something like 0.5. That's good enough. There are methods to get rid of this tiling, and I do cover it in a couple videos. I will go over that in the material blending video, and it won't be a big deal for this scene. Another thing that I like to do is set up a post-process volume, because you can see that the scene looks kind of crappy. It's really overexposed. So first thing we need to do with that is go to extents. Just type in extents in the search bar, click infinite extent, and then the next thing we want to do is exposure, so EXP. Under exposure, we want to click metering mode and min, max, and we just want to set this to 1. And now you can see it has a little bit more kind of clamped exposure in there. It still isn't great, but we'll fix. We're not. This isn't a lighting tutorial. That's coming soon, but we're gonna go continue from here. All right, so I'm gonna fill out the rest of these mega scans, and I'll get back to you. Okay, real quick, as I'm blocking this out, another thing that I like to do is add a camera. So if I go over here to our little add stuff to project, we're gonna go to cinematic, and I'm gonna grab a cinema camera actor, and now that is placed in the scene, and we can see we have a little preview down here. So I'm gonna grab my camera angle, so I can start composing the scene around the camera itself. And in my post process, I'm going to go to depth. I'm just going to turn depth of field off just by cranking that focal length up. And we can always see our cinematic camera if we go to CinCam here and then cinematic viewport. Now we can see where our camera is looking at and place it. I'm just going to go right in here. Here's our character. And continue, I'm going to continue blocking the scene out. Stay tuned. Okay, here is kind of another example of something that I want to help you guys solve. So sometimes when I'm trying, I'm trying to make these stairs match up um, kind of seamlessly, and you can see it's not really working. So I can grab this piece of Megascans, go to Modeling, Deform, and this Vertex Sculpt. I can select that, and then I'm just going to use the Move brush. And I'm going to get into this suite of tools later on the semester, but I just wanted to show you real quick what we can do here to fix this. So I'm just going to push this down a bit. And you don't want to do this too severely because the UVs will get messed up and things like that, but we can definitely get this better in place. So I'm just going to kind of sink it in here to make it look kind of like it's naturally blending. And then when I'm done, I'm going to hit accept. Boom. Now it's a nice seamless stair. All right, I'm going to continue blocking this in. We're almost done. I don't want to go too long on this, but I'm going to go ahead and finish blocking this in. Stay tuned. And there we go. There's a pretty good kind of like blocked in scene. Obviously, there's issues that can be fixed and tweaked, um, but this should give you a good starting point as to what you can do with Megascans. Lots of stuff you can do. And last but not least, really, the main differences between these are pretty uh, self-explanatory. So 3D assets are 3D. 3D plants are 3D plants. Tons of plants in here. Surfaces are materials that can be added to things like landscapes or other objects. Um, Decals, let's go ahead and I'm just going to go over that real quick. So I'm just going to grab a vegetation decal. Let's see here. You know what? Let's do some vines. So we got some different vines here. So let's grab like this one since I've already got it downloaded and throw it in here. Get out of my cinematic camera real quick. And now you can see this. What decals do is allow you, they have alpha maps attached to them. So let me move this out here just so you can see. And you can rotate them. And I'll show you what that looks like once I put it back in here. So I'm just going to add some vines to our gate like so. So if I move this up, we can start to get some vines. Or if I wanted to put them over here, all I'm doing is just rotating these and then moving them into place. So we could do something like that. Um, they are 2D, so just be careful that you're not stretching them out. Like you don't want to do something like this where it's stretching. If I pull this back up, so it's a way to kind of add more materials to what you've already got, which can be really fun. So as you can see, just a couple minutes there, or 15 seconds, and we've added ivy to the side of our building. So if I go back into the cinema actor, go back into the cinema actor. Oh my gosh. Cinematic viewport, cinema actor. There we go. See my vines over there. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea too of how much leverage you can use with the camera. So like I'm blocking things so we're not looking off into the distance. It feels like a whole scene when I do this. Like there could be something that continues beyond this. So keep that in mind as well. And that's it. That's Megascans. Have fun. Um, your next assignment is to add Megascans to your blockout and continue that environment. Thanks, everybody.